You don't know. You know why you don't know? Because you don't think. That's why. You don't think. You never figured out how to think, did you, Pinkman?
Hey, I said I was sorry, all right? I just...
So yeah, it's true. I think that Rob Zombie's 2007 Halloween movie is the best Halloween movie. Now, I feel like a lot of people, it's just kind of a unanimous thing that the original Halloween's the best, and it's sacrilege to question that and question its status, because it is undeniably an absolute force in nature, one of the most popular horror movies of all time, one of the most beloved horror movies of all time, and it is just held to this regard that is just untouchable. Pretty much it's not a question of which Halloween movie is your favorite. It's a question of what is your second favorite Halloween movie, because that's pretty much how it is. And even then, I think that Rob Zombie's Halloween is still like considered pretty low, and I really don't find it to be almost anybody's favorite, but it's my favorite. Now let me explain why, because it's not for nothing. Obviously, Rob Zombie's Halloween wouldn't exist / wouldn't at the very least be what it is without the original. But I just think that it elevates it so much. And I know that's an insane opinion on my part. First one's masterfully directed. I love it. It's an incredible movie, but I just love Rob Zombie's version of it better. I think he humanizes Michael Myers so much more, and I know a lot of people don't want that, and they think that it's more compelling that he doesn't have any kind of explanation or origin, but there's just such a raw emotional side to him in the Rob Zombie movie that I just think makes him a lot more compelling. You see his upbringing, you see how much of a terrible life he has. You see why he is the way he is, and kind of his nasty habits develop, and the things that are going to eventually make him just the soulless killer that he becomes. And in that, it just makes for so much more of a realistic take on the character. And I know with a lot of people, they would rather not know. They think that the mystery kind of preserves the sanctity of the character, that's what makes him so compelling to some people. But I think really tracking him through this lens makes for a better overall experience, in my opinion, and it makes the emotions of the final act more raw and exciting to me. And I am absolutely not knocking on the original when I say this, but the characters are pretty basic, the setup's pretty basic. You just kind of have this maniac escape from a mental institution. You know, even from the beginning, it doesn't seem like he has a terrible home life or anything. There's really no reason why Michael does it. That's just, it's just his origin, it's his basic setup, but they delve into it and spend so much more time with it in Rob Zombie's movie, and they really flesh out Michael as a character. You understand that through all the abuse and trauma that he suffers, that he just grows up just a messed up kid. It's not okay, and he clearly needed help, but he didn't get it. And then he goes down the road he goes down and just becomes a monster. And that transition to monster is just insane, because he's just so psychologically broken. And I think that side of it is just instantly more watchable. I gravitate a lot more towards this version because of that. Even the ending, the chase and the kill scenes and everything, it's just such a ramped up version of that original. And it, I think, tops it. Now, most people go towards Halloween 2, Halloween 2018, or H2O for what their favorite next to the original is, and I think this movie gets snubbed a lot, and I understand it can be pretty unpleasant to watch at times. The dialogue, especially in the beginning, can be very crude, really kind of hard to listen to, and it grates on your nerves because it's so unpleasant, but that adds to it and puts you in the position that Michael's in. It makes you feel like you're going crazy along with the character, because he's just in such a messed up situation from the start. A lot of people put this kind of just in the same basket as its sequel, but I think they're two separate entities, two separate worlds, and the approach couldn't be more different. I think Rob Zombie took a lot of liberties with number 2, and that's kind of just a discussion for another time, but still, the approach to this is also very different from the original, but I think that that's for the better, and I would have rather had the remake take a completely different approach. It shows the genesis of this kid. He never had a chance. He really didn't. And as you kind of track forward through his story, you just see the more helpless he is, and the more hopeless the situation is, and how there's no possibility that he will ever lead a normal life, and that he is basically just destined to become this person. And he becomes it, and it's very tragic. Tyler Mane also brings such a brutal edge to Michael Myers in this movie. You feel the visceral anger almost, and it's not as dispassionate as the original. There is a little bit more of a brutality to his version, and that's something that I also always take away from this movie. I'm sure a lot of you are going to disagree with me, but in the end, this is my favorite Halloween movie. I think it's the best of the franchise. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments why. I'd love to hear it. Have a good one.